got my clicker yet. Thank you, Natalie. Is it Natalie? Thank you so much. So my topic today is going to be, why is it that we need to start to care about the Mekong Delta? So what is the Mekong Delta actually? And that is a question that I'm going to explain to you after this question. Just for background, I've just arrived in Baku, and today I'm not feeling my best self because of the weather. I'm someone who was born in the Mekong Delta, so in a tropical climate. Therefore, heading to Baku, I was quite shocked to know that and to feel that the temperature is actually very low, and I'm freezing all the time. It's not that because I didn't check the weather, but it was because I trusted my friend who is here, and he told me earlier that Baku isn't that cold. However, it was very cold, and so today I'm a little bit sick. So my question is, what do we do when we get sick? Usually, whenever I get sick, I would need to take some medicines, or I was supposed to have some kind of treatments in order to combat with the illness. However, for my family, because growing up I have parents who are doctors, they, contradictory to many beliefs, they don't actually encourage me to take any medicines. And most of the time, they would just let me kind of heal myself while they monitor the progress. And that's actually helped me a lot, because I was born to be a very weak child, and it's actually raised my resilience. I'm not talking that you shouldn't be taking medicines or finding any treatments when you get sick, but there isn't only one way to fight the illness. So this question is not just for us only, but also for my own region, which is the Mekong Delta. As we all know, this is not working. Okay. As we all know, the Mekong Delta, if you might or might not know, is in the lower part of the Vietnam region. There we go, right here, the red area. And they are going through an extreme illness that is called climate change. And this is not going to be a story from an expert, because I'm not expertise in agriculture, but I'm just someone who lives and breathes the culture and the aspects of these qualities of the Mekong. And I'm also a daughter of the Mekong. So today I'm here also to advocate for this region and for its people. Now, next slide. As I mentioned, the Mekong Delta is going through such an illness. We have climate change. And in the Delta, it is one of the most vulnerable regions in the entire country to deal with such a big illness. However, the people in the Mekong Delta has found a way to build their resilience while we're still, waiting and trying to develop an ultimate cure for this illness. But to be immersed in such an experience, I want you to not imagine yourself as a human or as a child of the Mekong Delta, but I want you to imagine yourself as the rice. So why is it that we need to imagine ourselves as the rice? Well, growing up in the Mekong Delta, growing up in Vietnam, I eat rice almost every day for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the time. Rice is one of our most important source of food security. So hence, I need you to imagine that you are this beautiful, beautiful rice. Now, if you are a rice in the Mekong Delta, then you are very lucky to be planted there and to be cultivated there. Why so? Because the Mekong Delta is a very young and rich delta. It's a little bit red here. Okay, so the delta is actually very spacious. We have, a space of 39,000 something square kilometers for you to actually grow and thrive. And here is also the home to 18 million people, representing almost 20% of the entire Vietnamese population, the Vietnam's population. So again, not only you have a lot of space to grow, you also have a lot of people there to actually take care of you. And lastly, last but not least, this is a very resourceful region. Unlike any regions in Vietnam, the Mekong Delta is, of course, very rich in terms of resources. If you talk about the Mekong Delta, you're not only talking about the delta itself, so you're not only talking about Vietnam, but you also talk about the 6 countries that the Mekong rivers flow through. So the 6th country here, of course, is called the Greater Mekong River Basins. And this is one of the most biologically diverse river basins, ranking 2nd only after the Amazon. So you have all the conditions to grow and to thrive. You have the resources, the rich soil, the water, everything, the sediment, the best condition for you to grow as a rice crop. It's quite like if you are a very well-nurtured child, feel like you're almost like the youngest child in the house who always gets spoiled with everything, and you have all of these conditions. And because of that, congratulations, now you are a very young and rich rice crop. You have been recognized to be one of the largest contributors to the entire nation's food security, feeding half of the total population. 90% of the total rice export in the country also come from you, the Mekong Delta rice. And because of this, the Mekong Delta is so important to the country and the region. However, one day, you suddenly find yourself in a very unfortunate situation. You're not strong anymore. You're not thriving. Suddenly, you become very sick. Out of the blue moon, you say to yourself, trời đất hỡi cái gì đây? It means, in our language, in the Mekong language, it means basically, what the heck? What just happened? You get all these symptoms. Your stem has rotten, and your leaf literally burned. Because things change, and if you look into the largest picture, it's not just you that change, but your entire region has changed. The lands around you is not rich anymore. It's getting exploited. And the water that feeds you, that nurtures you, suddenly becomes so salty that it is unbearable to drink and to consume. And, sorry, my throat is a little bit dry today. And ironically, the Mekong Delta is known as one of the most abundant place for the, they have plenty of water resources. But now, they don't have any fresh water for irrigation or to consume. And you find yourself in such a situation where you're not thriving anymore, you're not the top child anymore, and now you are just struggling to survive and to, trying to barely make it through life. So here is what happened. It has not always been easy for the Mekong Delta. We are indeed a very resourceful land, and in my memory, the Mekong Delta is covered in green and many other colors as well. It's a very diverse region. However, now, whenever I come back to my hometown, all I see is yellow, and all I see is a silver color. We started to experience drought and salt erosion. In 2016, there was something that happened. So you encounter the worst drought and salt erosion in 100 years. With 18 provinces in the Mekong region declaring a state of emergency at the same time. And also then, up to 80% rice crops in many areas like Trà Vinh, Bến Tre, Kiên Giang, Bạc Liêu, which are all of the major rice production areas in the country, where they were losing the lifeline, they was losing their rice. And you can also see millions of people urgently needed food assistance. And nearly 2 million lost their livelihoods or were significantly impacted. Because the rice for the Mekong people is not just a plant or it's not just a lifeline, you as the rice is actually one of our biggest assets. And if you really trace back into the history of the Green Revolution, you will understand that for hundreds and thousands of years, the people in the Delta has identified themselves as farmers, as the caretakers of the region, as the caretaker of the rice. So it is a part of our own identity. And in the heart of Mekong Delta, so actually my hometown, we have a saying, Cần Thơ gạo trắng nước trong, ai đi đến đó làm không muốn về, which basically means that here in the region of the Mekong Delta and in Cần Thơ city, you will see the very magnificent beauty of the rice paddies, and that would make you not want to leave the region. You would want to stay there forever. So it's a huge part of who we are, and suddenly now we don't have that anymore. Now, continue. So now let's talk about your caregivers or the farmers. They are devastated, and they try to search for a cure, but to no avail. They have tried everything to help you, and they, in their own knowledge, they have tried to use fertilizer, pesticides, temporary solutions, in the hope of trying to revive you, but there was nothing worked. Oh, I'm running out of time right now. Okay, so in the end, what would it be without the Mekong Delta? If the drought and the salt in Chosin just keep, worsening, then to be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna have a hometown anymore. Because it's not just that I have lost one of the most beautiful places that I have ever known, but the entire region who, being one of the largest rice producer, they are losing their livelihoods, they're losing their culture, and the entire nation of Vietnam loses their biggest rice bowl of the country. And it's a part of who I am. It's a part of my own identity. And I want to, take this into this platform, not to only discuss about the Mekong Delta. I actually have so much more to say, but because of time limitation, hopefully one day we can catch up and to really see how the people in the Mekong Delta, especially in this specific land, they managed to find a way to build their resilience, to adapt with their illness and to live very happily until they are able to find a cure. But I'm trying to bring my message here from local to global. Because the Mekong Delta is not independently its own, we also have many other deltas. And in this world, we are all interconnected by the water, by the rivers. The Mekong River connects 6 countries, and the larger regions of the river and the ocean system in the world, they connect multiple regions. You cannot find any continents, living without water. Therefore, we need to address the importance of each of the delta and to focus on the farmers and the young people in the delta, because they are the ones who have the local knowledge. And if we manage to incorporate the local knowledge with scientific-based research, then we will manage to create something very concrete. And this is a story of building local resilience and global relevance. And I hope that at COP29, personally as a child of the Delta, I will be able to amplify this story on this platform. And one other critical aspect of COP29, of course, this year, climate finance, I would like to say something. You can have the investment for the big boys, for the largest investors, for the largest producers of your own community and country. But you must not forget the people who are working at the front lines. So here, an image of a farmer, and he has so much to tell. He has so much wisdom to share with you. And if we manage to find and build a support system for them, this is how we're going to change. So that is all for my Mekong story, and you can connect with me through LinkedIn and hope that we can amplify this story, maybe to share the relevance with your own regions as well. Thank you so much.